Welcome back to the day after podcast. Because we couldn't do it yesterday.
Brian was putting up Christmas lights.
Yeah, it's all good, but we're here finally.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta finally talk about the new episodes.
I really liked this episode. I thought there was some interesting plays, and Janet got featured a bit more.
Yes, I was glad that Janet was prominently featured. The gameplay, I think, was a little iffy here and there. If it was the right moves were happening or not. I mostly am saying not. It was fun. It was fun for the audience.
It definitely was.
But I don't know if I was in some of their shoes, I would have done those moves.
Maybe. All right. So the aftermath of last episode's tribal, basically Vokai is hurting all around.
Yeah.
Because Aaron definitely betrayed Tommy, and then now they're like, oh crap, we had the numbers, now we don't.
Yeah, it was honestly, this was a clusterfuck from Tommy and Lauren. Just they decided to work together to try to convince people to vote out Dan.
Which if you're on the bottom like that, and if you have a type 4 like that, honestly, it's not a bad idea, but people can see right through that, and they did.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they all did it on their own, and maybe occasionally you said, against the other person, but not as strong, I think that would have been a stronger move.
Maybe.
And potentially, Dan might have been considered more, but... Because, it's weird that it's like, oh, the other, he's, good friends with them, but not friends with us. That's kind of like what they were trying to go for, and it's also, what?
It's like Dan. He is kind of like not necessarily public enemy number one. I don't think he's doing anything wrong. It's just
his edit. It's his edit.
It's his edit, and I also feel like I said, Kellee people were a bit more touchy-feely.
Yeah. It gets very uncomfortable every time that every episode you have to have a moment where Dan touches someone, and it's like they prominent, on it. And whereas other people, something will happen and it's fine, but if he does it, they very much are, front and center.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, so I feel bad for him having to watch all this go down.
Especially since he is in he is in show business.
Yeah, and this is right after the Me Too movement.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't, damage. Like I said,
I don't think it will.
He has big stars on his roster, and plus, he's not necessarily the one in the movies. And it's not like he's basically the liaison for these actors and these studios. He's not necessarily he's not making. He's making moves in Hollywood, but he's not he's basically getting people in the room.
I think it would be worse if he starts making comments about wanting to touch way more.
I highly doubt.
Exactly. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's just a thing of misunderstandings / Callie's people being touched.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I think he'll be fine as long as he doesn't say anything like that.
So. Let's see. Now back on the Laro tribe.
Yes.
Jamal, is starting to start stuff with people.
Yes. He is just creating chaos right now, and it's I get it. He's been at the bottom pretty much the entire game.
Well, yeah. He hasn't necessarily had to been to tribal too many times, other than
those 2 times.
3 now.
Oh, 3? Oh yeah, 3.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But and he thought he was sitting pretty in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal, I think he's a good guy, or he's someone to root for. I just think his gameplay needs some work.
Yeah. He's entertaining TV. He is like a Jonathan Penner type. He really can do those confessionals and really tell the story great. When he found his idol, for instance, R.I.P. his idol. It was very entertaining to kind of see him to see him get it. But he's just not the greatest social player or strategist. Also, I feel like we should mention. We forgot to mention the do-rag thing
do-rag?
last week. That's not because we didn't want to talk about it. We just forgot about it.
Conversation.
Yeah. So it slipped our minds.
I mean, I feel like it was something where, well, I feel this season especially, it's addressing a lot of social issues.
Yeah.
And that was something of like, because good friends, sometimes they say something that's, not necessarily PC or might offend someone, and it's a subject matter that's uncomfortable to talk about, like race or like sexism. And, it's like, sometimes it can hurt a relationship, and, it can hurt a friendship. And so, I think, Jack handled it very, very, respectfully, and, he didn't mean it at all. I mean, I've said some things every now and then, as we all do. We all make mistakes, and I feel, I think Jack handled it respectfully, and it did kind of build their bond a little bit more because of the apology.
Yeah, they got a lot tighter. I mean, Jamal said, he's going to remember that moment forever.
Yeah.
If only he played the idol for Jack.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that later, but... but, so... Back to Island of the Idols. Yes. Janet was chosen.
Yeah, let's go Janet.
Yes, I was happy to see that. I was interested to see what her challenge would be.
Well, when she went, did you think she was going to take it or not?
Well,
I didn't.
It's always
I thought she was going to say no.
It's always a case-by-case thing. Sometimes it feels like it might be tailor-fitted to the person. Once they know who's going to get chosen, then they're like, okay, what's something their game could use? With Nora, it was, convincing people.
Yeah.
With Kellee, it was listening to people's stories.
Yes.
To Vince, it was, being brave and making moves.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel, I was wondering what hers would be, because, yeah, she's played she has gameplay strategy, but she hasn't really, or I wouldn't say she hasn't made any super power moves yet.
Yeah.
This is a bird for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. I really thought she wasn't going to take it. I felt like that the younger players are the ones who immediately want to kind of get on it, whereas the older players will be more kind of
maybe.
Yeah, unless it was a huge advantage in the game.
It could have been.
Because I don't think it was a great advantage.
I feel it's a case by case thing. I feel Janet didn't need it, but maybe someone who's always sitting on the bottom, Jamal or
Karishma.
Yeah.
I don't see her playing that for Karishma.
But I think it was an interesting advantage.
Yeah,
but
we haven't seen something like that, I believe.
The closest thing I can think of is Cook Islands, where it was basically they were split into teams randomly, and then these 5 people go into the immunity,
and they kidnap.
And then the other 5, yeah. So it's you never really. So it was interesting seeing, a something potential like that. It might come up later because, Survivor likes to pitch these ideas every now and then.
Yeah, I feel like they're definitely trying to work out ideas and advantages for, Season 40, for instance.
Because what's great about certain, or, any gameplay with strategy, basically, it's there could be really great things, but it might come at us a cost. Mm-hmm. As in, that advantage could help or hinder depending on scenario. And I feel that Janet, that is a risky thing because, you might have the numbers, but if you don't vote, numbers can switch. What if someone has an idol and they don't know, and then, that extra vote could have, if they split the votes, saved one of your allies instead now, oh, it's a tie, and then they have to vote again, and then your ally goes home.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's too much risk and not enough rewards. And I think she figured that out.
At least in her position in the game.
I was also really surprised that Boston Rob didn't try to tempt her even more. He was just shook. He was shooketh if I've ever seen it.
I mean, how would you sweeten that deal? It was oh, you can do it for 2, or...
or It was, whenever, up to your final 7.
Since Final 6. I wouldn't do that at Final 6 because that's a clear 5. That's 5 people at Tribal, so whoever has the majority, that can be slightly risky.
Yeah, but I feel like Because everyone else kind of seemed like there was wiggle room, and except for Janet, who's the first to say no. And I almost think it was just Rob didn't know, like, what to do, and he was just like, okay, get on out of here.
I think it also goes to the fact of, like, she's a lifeguard. She's been a lifeguard for most of her life. In the sense of, like, and the whole thing was calculated risk. You know, when you're trying to, you know, save someone's life or stuff like that, you take into consideration different factors. And then I don't think, you know, like, she has to think about, you know, safety and stuff like that. So I think, you know, and in regards, it was a good challenge for her. It's like, all right, because
I think she made the right choice.
Yeah,
very much. Because I think her gameplay should not be revolved around advantages and idols and stuff. I think that tarnishes her gameplay. Like, it will make her a threat. She does not want to be a threat until, like, the end of the game.
I think, I haven't said this in a while, I think she is potentially a sleeper threat. Like, depending on who's left, and let's say the 8-person mark, she could potentially, you know, just, you know, show that, oh crap, now we have to get her out, but we can't because she's winning challenges, because she can hold her own in challenges.
Yeah, she's not been a slouch in the challenge, especially swimming challenges. Like, if they get out Elizabeth and then it's a swimming challenge,
that's going to give her a huge advantage.
Yeah, she is going to have, like, at least 2 or 3 minute lead on whatever the next part of the challenge is.
Definitely. All right, so
speaking of go ahead. You go ahead.
Before we go to the challenge, I love how Sandra, she's like, it's going to be a female winner. Yep. And I know you share that belief.
I really think it is.
I definitely think it's still up in the air, because
I think there's one guy, and that's Tommy.
Tommy, definitely. I'm trying to think of the other dudes.
Well then, I know some people are thinking that Jamal and Aaron are, like, secondary, like, potential winners, like, if they do really good in the merge.
I feel Aaron, definitely. Jamal, I think
I don't see him.
If his game starts to improve, maybe.
I still see him potentially getting, like, final 6, but, like, kind of no one's wanting to target him because they are just like...
Dan, I think...
He's not winning.
I don't
There's
think so.
0%
I think he
chance.
might... We'll talk about, you know, the alliance with Kellee later, but it's like...
I feel like if he was the winner, they wouldn't have made it as big a deal with him touching people.
No, not Dan. Dean.
Dean. Okay. I was
Dean,
like, what? You think Dan could win this?
I was off by 1.
Yeah.
No.
Dean. I still don't see him. I think he's just kind of getting dragged through the game.
Well, I mean, especially with what we'll talk about.
Yeah.
So the challenge. Yeah. It was super, super close. I couldn't really tell. Like,
yeah,
it was
literally down to placing
a couple of pieces,
placing a block.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's like one of those things where, you know, as someone that does tournaments, sometimes it's not necessarily something you do wrong.
Yeah, there's no one's fault.
Yeah, it's like it's just the other team won. It's a factor of like, oh, okay. Because even Vokai screwed up. Yeah. Like, and that could have cost them, but, you know, they corrected it. Sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Yeah. Also, we should go back to the start, because apparently, everyone's saying that there was a reward challenge that got cut, because we didn't see and now getting your first look at the new Vokai.
Yeah. I think I was...
That's what everyone... Because they've done that.
Because, like... Obviously, one of their own getting voted off in the previous episode would have been surprising.
Yes, especially I wanted to see Nora's reaction to Jason. I'm not usually a big fan of those, but I was really excited to see that, and of course that's the one that got cut.
I feel I'm not dissing anyone, and they might have been able to do some creative editing. I don't know. Yeah. But either way, it was like. I think that was something that crossed my mind a little bit during the show, but I was still, like, focused on the challenge. But,
apparently, they did the same thing for Edge of Extinction, and that Edge of Extinction reward that got cut off was the immunity challenge that we saw this week. So that's kind of weird how that worked out.
I mean, you know, we like seeing different challenges come back.
Yeah, but we didn't even see that reward challenge because it got cut in Edge of
yeah,
Extinction.
I think maybe they didn't want to go to waste.
Maybe. I don't know. Also, it's just timing. I think that's the big thing. Is like if you have Island of the Idols, and you have like gameplay going on,
True.
and a reward, and an immunity, and tribal.
I mean, they did it. I think they did one episode.
But that was Applebee's. Applebee's gets a special spot for Survivor. Christmas favorite place. Yeah. Okay.
So back at Tribal now, Kellee makes an interesting move in the sense of like, yeah, she didn't want her idol to go to waste. She could easily just have it as a souvenir, but she did open doors for someone, if she wants to flip in the future, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like she, approaching Dean, approaching Dean and being like, oh hey, I have this, might as well play it. And then, it does shake up the game and also gets revenge on Jamal.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that they didn't send Jamal home.
Low key,
I didn't, because the thing is, I applaud the editing of the season, actually. I do applaud it because in a lot of past seasons, they would have stressed why they would wanted to get home Jack.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that she probably said that, but they didn't want to bring that because it would have been a bigger shock if all of a sudden Jack, who is like, oh, he's super likable, I get along well with him.
But I think part of the reason getting rid of Jack is it's part of the meta these days. Like I keep saying, the meta is not, keeping the tribe strong. It's getting rid of the biggest threats before they can make it to the merge, and then that's how it plays now.
Yeah,
getting rid of the big threats.
Yeah, he kind of got like almost a purple edit, so I guess I'm not seeing him as a big threat.
Well, I mean, Jack, I feel like he could have. It's sad because I feel like he had the potential of someone being kind of like you root for it, like a hero. If we were gonna cast people in heroes versus villains, if he'd gone further in the game, I feel like he could have came back as a hero. Yeah, basically.
Well, he was also an alternate on Edge of Extinction, and everyone wanted to work with him, and so in fact, Chris Underwood replaced Jack. So if Jack went on, he would have probably won the game.
Potential. That's so strange because I actually know someone who she's auditioned for Survivor several times, and she was saying there are a lot of different factors because and she almost made it on the show a few times, but it's just one thing, and then marketing and stuff like that. It's crazy about how many people get in the pool, and how many times they get rejected before they get on, or
some people go out to the island and then or just you're just an alternate, man.
That would be tough. But...
I mean, that's a great 39-day vacation though.
True, but it still just kind of hurt a little bit where it's come on, I want to play.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I guess I'd rather be the first boots than be an alternate.
I wouldn't say that, because if I'm an alternate, kind of like Jack, I can still play later on.
Yeah, but first boots, Francesca, come on.
That's the only one, other than,
First boot season, come on, Survivor.
That's the only person besides, Tina.
Yeah.
Who, was brought back for another season.
Yeah. I think that if you're a good and fun player, you should be able to come back if you're first boot.
Well, I mean...
Bring back Zane Knight from Philippines.
Maybe. I feel... Who was the first boot where I was they weren't necessarily first boots, but the two people that didn't even get to play Survivor in season 10.
Wanda Shirk and Jonathan Libby.
Those were... I felt so bad with them.
That was the worst.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't even someone told them, hey, you're alternates. That's
you don't even get to play.
They didn't get picked by the rest of the castmates.
Yeah, that was... I mean, it's shocking. Yeah, and I think it made for great TV, but I was thinking because
I would be pissed. Even if I was a family member, I would be upset at Survivor. I would probably not watch Survivor after that. I might actually be that bitter.
I don't know. It would.
They should have brought them back though. They should have brought them back like the next season. They should have taken over Stephanie and Bobby John's spots. That would have been interesting.
I think Stephanie, she brought that season and made that season a little bit better.
But what about Wanda?
I know. Maybe if they do a first out season, but to get
back on track.
So, Jack, who was not the first one out.
First jury member.
I was surprised, which I was happy about because it's like, all right, he's still, he's still gonna be around. I do feel like they might bring him back.
Yeah, because I was like, I really like this cast, and I did not want to see any more of them not make the jury.
Yeah, so that's good. Though, I feel so bad for Jamal. It's like he saved the wrong person.
Yeah,
it's like
I could go on and on about how that was just the bad move from start to finish.
Because why would they go after Nora? Yeah, granted she's a flip-flopper.
And why would you save Nora if... Because she was going
Jack
to gun.
Jack is your closer ally.
Yeah.
And then also...
Or why not use it on yourself at least?
Yeah.
If Dean plays the idol, you voted for him. Save yourself in that situation. Don't.
Well, I guess it's like at that point because Jack did get 2 votes. But it's like, all right, if Dean is alone, let's say, because Karishma completely abandoned ship on the Laro on that side. And so you're thinking, who is Dean going to go for? And who would, maybe not Jamal himself, but then again, he wouldn't have known he got an idol. Or it's like, maybe Nora might be, like, not necessarily Jack or something like that, but like...
I think Nora was just such I get
that was a bad choice.
Okay, so I think this is another editing thing that I think happened was they focused a lot of the tribal council on Nora, so that would make sense why Jamal played it on Nora.
Fair enough.
I think that's what happens. But I think that's editing. I don't think that's gameplay. I think that was just Jamal chose the wrong person.
He definitely did.
Like the worst person that he could have chose.
Yeah.
Maybe Karishma would have been a little worse, but...
I don't know. But, all right. So, before we get into the big, the best player and the least favorite, we need to talk about, at the end of the episode, I learned that Rudy, all the way from Borneo, passed away.
It was really sad.
It is, because, he was a fun character. He wasn't, this is back when gameplay wasn't as big.
Yeah.
He was fun, and, he had a few funny moments for his brief time on All-Stars. Mm-hmm. It's sad when you hear about it.
Yeah. Well, apparently he wasn't doing very good for the last, year or two. He was, having a lot of Alzheimer's issues and stuff, so it sucks when this kind of happens, but, now he's not suffering or in pain or anything.
True.
So.
But
yeah, it's always the worst because he was an original.
Yeah.
The original old guy.
He was the oldest player twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
honestly, I thought he would have gone by now. Good for him. 91.
I mean, what a life.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's in a better place.
Yeah, definitely. Let's bring this podcast back into goofiness. Okay.
All right. Now, so best player. I think honestly, it's got to be Kellee.
Really?
All right. From this standpoint, one, she tied a bond with someone that is on the other side in case she wants to flip later on in the game. Two. She used the advantage she got to benefit her game, not necessarily when she was in danger, but she utilized it in kind of a creative way to expand on what I said earlier. And also, she got rid of the bigger threat out of Jamal's alliance. Because that's why Jamal stayed. It's because his social game is crap, and yeah. And so, Jack would have been a bigger threat down the road as opposed to Jamal. and it all worked out.
Yeah, see, I'm just not a fan of that move, I'd say. I think she wanted to make a move for the sake of making a move. If she had that idol and she could have used it whenever, she would not have played it here. Dean would have gone home.
But I still feel like because there was a restriction, she was like, all right, let's be creative with it.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely... I think her game has definitely improved more rather than it going to waste.
I think her peak was the hair idol.
The hair idol was good, but all right, then who do you think was the
100% Janet. She flashed everyone.
How did I forget to mention that?
Yeah.
How?
You wrote it down, right?
I don't. I guess I was too focused on gameplay. But anyway.
Yeah, no. I was not a big fan of a lot of the gameplay that happened, so I'm going based on her because I think she was one of the few people to make a great move. And she flashed everyone. She was great TV.
All right, I won't argue with that.
Yeah.
I won't argue with that. But yeah. All right. So worst player, I'm gonna say Jamal.
Yeah, I have to say Jamal too.
Yeah, not only did he hurt his social game, but he used the idol. On the wrong person.
The wrong person. Like, I would have... I don't know if I would have given him the least valuable player if he played on himself or Jack.
Yeah.
But because it was on Nora, it just...
Yeah. So, in that result, I have to give it to him.
Yeah. Because I'd say the next one would probably be either Tommy or Lauren on the other side for just making it so that Tommy would have been the next one to go home had that tribe lost.
Here's the thing. Next time on Survivor, it is the merge.
The merge, yes.
Which is going to be interesting. It's a 7-6 split, so anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, it's more like an 8-5 because Karishma.
Yeah, Karishma's on that side, and...
but we'll see.
Yeah, if this season has Pagonging, I don't know how well the season's going to go overall. Because right now, this pre-merge was great.
Yeah.
But... if we have a Pagonging that just goes on for episode after episode after episode, this season is going to kind of get tarnished by that. And I'm afraid of that. I'm always afraid going into the merge because, sometimes, especially in recent seasons, there's great pre-merges.
Yeah.
And then the merge sometimes...
like I said, the new meta is get out all the threats.
Yeah.
It's even before the merge, get out all the threats. Even if you lose, all right, get out a threat.
Yeah, and it's kind of sucks because then you're left with kind of players that, and maybe one good player is in there and you're just trying to hope they get to the end.
But, tis the game.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not going to lie, I think this definitely has potential. There's still a lot of good players. I think Kellee, Janet... Tommy, we still got some peeps.
Yeah, the Women's Alliance.
We forgot to mention that. We're not... Yeah. It's not that we're...
It's not...
avoiding these. We just forget in the conversation.
Yes.
I think it was something to bring up because it's it's mentioned from time to time almost every season. Mm-hmm. But it's why should that be a thing? Because, it's something that could bond you. But at the same time,
it's not the strongest bond.
Yeah.
The reason why it worked in one world was because it started off women versus...
That way.
And that's why it worked. Had that been a normal season and the tribes were all divided equally, I don't think it would have played out like that.
Yeah, plus with Survivor, male or female, they don't last in general when it's just specifically gender-based. And I feel... especially going forward with Survivor, I don't think we would be too far off if they had a non-binary player.
Yeah, that's true. That could very much happen.
I definitely feel we're in the day and age where something as with gender, the lines are, it's social construct is changing in the sense of I have a lot of great friends who are girls, which, it's purely platonic. It's I never really had a crush on. They're just cool people to be around and, still
and society has definitely evolved to the point where, every time that they can get, something new that's kind of, in this new day and age and everything, they want to try to put that out there.
Yeah.
Look back on Survivor the Amazon. Jenna and Heidi took off their clothes to get peanut butter, and Jeff said, Do it.
I forgot about that.
I don't know if that would fly nowadays.
I don't. I mean, that's just the thing about any show. Like, you know, even Family Guy has admitted they, you know, when it comes to gay jokes, it
hasn't aged very well.
There are a lot of things, like even Friends, which is one of my favorite sitcoms. Mm-hmm. You know, they have some dated jokes, or like, you know, they poke fun at certain things. Yeah. But it's like, you know, but that's not necessarily against. It's just the humor of the time, and it has evolved, and we're in this like transitioning area where, you know, a lot of these things are just going to be the norm, and these certain like boundaries, or like, you know, like, oh, you know, just because they're all girls, they're probably going to work together and take out the men because they have the numbers advantage or something like that. Mm-hmm. I feel we're in that transition area where hopefully sooner rather than later, everything is just going to be the norm, you know, like,
yeah, no, I don't know. This has been a great season, especially for these kind of social questions that they've been kind of bringing up. And I really hope that, for my sake also, if I replace Survivor, there's no more women's alliances like talk that could go down. Hopefully this quelled that.
I mean, if they do want to, let them try to get me out.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting if we ever got on the show.
Yeah.
I might make an audition tape.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to. I just have not got to the time.
For me, I kind of have time, but it's like, because I have auditioned for the show 3 times before, didn't hear anything back. Oh my god, my first 2 were so bad.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least your third was good.
The third was good, but it's like, it's a different story for a different time.
Yeah.
You
have your Pokemon Go things now.
True, and that's part of the reason why I haven't really, because it's like, you know, I want to be, you know, I'm going to say the very best in that. And so, like, you know, me being gone for 39 days, I miss a cup, and that influences my ranking. Now, granted, you know, there are a lot of talented people out there when it comes to Pokemon Go. But, you know, it's like, gameplay wise, you know, like for ranking and stuff like that, you know, it does hurt a little bit. Like, granted, you know, no question asked, I will, you know, miss a tournament if it's something for, you know, like acting. But, you know, a 39-day commitment for anything, that's a
lot. Yeah.
Well, 39-day minimum.
Yeah, because you actually have to go out there a few days ahead of time to do like press stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'd definitely be down. I would be so bad at all the physical challenges. I would be the Karishma of the season.
I think I would be a blend of John Cochran and maybe Jack of the season, where I'm nerdy, I'm young.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I feel like I might be a target, but at the same time, it's like, you know, my, you know, can-do attitude and being positive might help my social game. But if we're getting rid of threats, I would not be.
Yeah.
I think I could potentially be a threat.
I think I would be like a younger Rick Devens.
Remind me.
Rick Devens from Edge of Extinction.
Oh, yeah.
I think I would be like a younger version of him. Because I would just be kind of cracking jokes out there the entire time and just messing around.
You know, and people love him for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was great TV. And he, you know, I wanted him to win, but that's another story for another day.
All right, well, everything aside, because we derailed from a bit, but, you know, like, you get to know us a little bit more.
I mean, I think it's good to derail a little bit from these podcasts, you know?
You get to know more about us.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, if Survivor casting people are watching, they're like, oh, okay, now we get a more feel for their personality.
Yeah, and then they can hit us up and be like, hey, send in your thing right now, and like, we can look at it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, if you get on, it's going to take at least minimum 6 months before you have to go out there.
Oh, yeah.
So
just win every single tournament, and it might help.
Yeah, because then you can drop a little bit and then still be good.
True. I mean, well, this season is still just like starting up last month, and so like everything is shiny and new. Yeah. But
I mean, does it matter like the seasons, like how it's?
Well, I mean,
because
this is something they introduced actually earlier this year, and since it was the introductory one, the first season was early. This one is kind of like they stopped the last season in August, and then this new season picked up last month. Okay. So it's like
okay, because I mean I know that their seasons when they film is spring and summer.
Yeah. Yeah. So and that's when championships are, or like when it starts to happen, which.
That's unfortunate.
That's something where I have to think about, but like we'll cross that road when we get there.
Well, if you ever want to do an audition, I'll help, and then you can help me with mine.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. All right, guys. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah. See ya.